A KSLSports.com presentation. Game Night Live kicks off now. Presented by America First Credit Union.
Oh, yeah, the wait is over. High school football season is underway, and so is another season of Game Night Live. Jeremiah Jensen and Sam Farnsworth, we're ready to take you through the best highlights from week one of the high school football season.
Yeah, and we're going to start with a shootout in Cache Valley. Pine View and Ridgeline, the two teams combined for 1,200 yards of total offense, 114 points, and 7 lead changes. And Pine View quarterback McLeod Croton was leading the aerial assault for the Panthers. He had 3 touchdown passes by halftime, and he had his team in the lead 28-24 at the break. And he was just warming up, too, because McLeod completed 34 passes on 48 attempts, 482 yards. He had touchdown passes of 23 yards, 48 yards, and 54 yards, part of a total of 7 touchdowns. Yes, 7 touchdown passes. He completed passes to 6 different receivers. Daylor Reimer, Michael Moore each had 10 receptions apiece. McLeod even ran for 24 yards. 506 yards of total offense for this kid, Jeremiah.
Wow, pretty impressive. Ridgeline had a lot of success in the run game, led by junior Javessa DeMooney. Running behind that offensive line allowed him to rack up a lot of yards and a lot of points. DeMooney carried the ball 25 times, 198 yards. He scored 5 touchdowns on the night. His final score put the Riverhawks up 52-49. After a Pine View score, Ridgeline would respond with another rushing touchdown to take back the lead for good. This time Noah White gets the call down the sideline for the 29-yard game-winning touchdown. After all this scoring, it was a defensive play that clinched victory for Ridgeline. Miles Eck would read the play perfectly, and Ridgeline gets the big home win, 58-56.
A lot of talented players in our state, no doubt. Now, Lone Peak, they're no stranger to success. As the defending 6A state champs, the Knights enter the season as the second-ranked team overall in the state. 13 of 22 starters returned from that championship team for the season opener against Timpview, a team that comes in ranked 8th, but they did lose a fair amount of talent from last year's squad. So here's how it all went down last night. Lone Peak with a 7-0 lead after a quarter, but Timpview came to play. Raider DeMooney, look at this catch. Lays out deep in Knight territory. They'd tie it a few plays later. Then Lone Peak would answer. J.D. Nealman, 74 yards to Trajan Hansen, 14-7. Knights. Timpview not giving up, though. Keenan Allen to Baylor Erickson. We're tied again. Lone Peak with a 2014 lead in the 4th when the defense comes to play. The tip drill there. DeMooney to the house. Guess what? It's tied again. But Lone Peak, they have a great safety of their own. Nate Ritchie, the interception, cuts his way through traffic all the way for a score. Lone Peak getting that season-opening win, 30-20.
Dixie and Springville are separated by 250 miles. That hasn't kept the two schools from meeting in the season opener for 14 straight years. An unlikely rivalry has developed, and each year these two teams provide a competitive and exciting season opener. Last night was no different. It was our Game Night Live Game of the Week, streamed live on the KSL TV app. Dixie, the favorite to win the 4A title. Springville, the battle for Provo for the Region 8 title. Get her done. It was Dixie that jumped out to an early lead. Reggie Graff with a dime to Trey Simmons. Springville had even the score later in the first. Tyler Kelly was the Red Devils' workhorse in the backfield, a 2-yard score. Then in the second, Springville takes the lead. Peyton Murphy finds Zach Mitchell wide open. Zach, the son of Springville legend Scott Mitchell. Springville led 14-7 at the half. Could have been more, but Hunter Knighton with the pick. And Dixie gets some momentum in the second half. Graff with a 30-yard laser. The C.J. Schultz. The Flyers tie the game at 14. Now 8:55 left in the 4th. Graff scores with his legs. Gets the corner and the pylon for 6, but a bad snap on the extra point would be costly. Springville methodically marches down the field and scores on a Peyton Murphy quarterback dive. Sophomore kicker Zach Antonino fights the pressure and makes the extra point that gave Springville a 21-20 lead. Dixie still has time, but Graff is picked off by another sophomore, Cole McAllister, and Springville holds on for the 1-point win. Here's Tom Hackett with the MVP of the game, Tyler Kelly.
Congratulations, first of all. How does it feel to get the first win under the belt? It feels great. There's nothing like a close game like this. Winning at home, there's nothing like it. It's just great.
Well, Cedar and Spanish Fork were going head-to-head. The Dons with an early 3-0 lead, and they add to it at the end of the first quarter. Caden Holt to Corbin Harrison. 42 yards. It's 9-0 Spanish Fork. Now they're up 6 in the second. Holt, feeling pressure, is going to scramble. Dives for the pylon. He's in. It's a 16-3 lead for the Dons heading into the half. But Cedar would find some motivation in the locker room. Third quarter, Jaron Garrett, call him Jaron Football, why not, finds Benjamin Ellis for the touchdown. A couple of minutes later, Garrett is going to go to the air again. Colby Meek caught just short of the goal line, though. He would score a couple plays later to take the 17-16 lead. We've got a football game here. Fourth quarter, Dons still down 1. Holt to Cade Olson, and he walks in. They'd convert on the 2-point attempt to go up 24-17, and the Reds, well, they answer here. Garrett with a man wide open. Jack Cook all alone in the end zone, so we've got a tie ball game again. We're going to overtime. Extra football, folks. Spanish Fork would get the first possession. They kick a field goal, but Cedar would one-up them with the touchdown. Colby Meek again, and the Reds get the big road win, 30-27.
Bingham was picked by the coaches as the preseason #1 team in 6A. They begin the 2019 campaign against Weber. Third play from Weber was a good one. Cole Hogan airs it out to Braden Hart. It's a 75-yard catch and run, and the Warriors strike first. But then the Miners turned it on. 21 straight points, capped off by a 55-yard touchdown catch by Isaiah Glasker. Then 20 seconds left in the half. The Miners go for it on 4th down. Glasker again. Bingham starts their 2019 season with a 41-24 win. Another great 5A versus 4A matchup. Highland makes the nearly 300-mile trip to St. George to take on Desert Hills, and Desert Hills takes an early lead. Logan Wilstead with a strike to Caleb Rogers. 10-0 Thunder. Highland would then reel off 21 straight points. Hunter Lambert, the Rams quarterback, hits Ashton Olivau for a 25-yard touchdown. Highland gets back to their ground game that they're known for another big play. They run the wing T perfectly. Zach Levy had room to run, an 80-yard touchdown by the time he was done. Let's go to the third quarter. Desert Hills cuts into the Rams' lead. Logan Wilstead, weaving through the Highland defense, ran about 50 yards on a 20-yard touchdown. Later in the third, another explosive play, this time through the air. Wilstead connects with Jace Mortensen. 86 yards, but Desert Hills could never get the lead back. The Rams run their way to a 35-29 road.
All right, 15th ranked Alta, the start of the season on the road against #7 Skyridge. First quarter, Skyridge quarterback Emmett Call keeps it, and he rolls 26 yards to the score for the score. The game opening score, 6-0 there. 2.5 minutes later, Call goes to the air. Noah Erickson wide open, 35-yard touchdown. It's 13-0. In the second quarter, Alta finally cracks the scoreboard. Cinco Lucero puts it right in the breadbasket of DeAndre Randolph. Then in the second half, Skyridge puts it to bed. Call with another big play, and look at this, just threads the middle. 80 yards on cruise control. Skyridge starts off 1-0 with a 28-14 win.
16th ranked Roy opened the season against West Jordan. Roy was pitching a shutout until the fourth quarter. Great crowd on hand as always. 3rd and 16, West Jordan quarterback Benjamin Anderson tries to run, nothing there, buys some time, and his patience pays off. He finds Christian Olsen. Whoop! He's on the loose. What a play. Escapes and takes the ball inside the 10. Very next play, Isaiah Lepele takes it in from 5 yards out, and Roy on their next possession. Royals are running. Kate Harris takes this one 70 yards for the touchdown. Then Roy would get an interception, and Harris does it again. And Roy gets the 24-7 win. All right, coming up next, a top 5 matchup between Corner Canyon and Orem. Also, more impressive individual performances and some crazy plays. Plenty of drama in week 1 of the high school football season. We're just getting started. We got more next. Friday night was loaded with great games, but the season got its start on Thursday night with a couple of state champs.
Yeah, last year's 5A champs, Corner Canyon, they made the jump up to 6A this fall. And then last year's 4A champs, Orem, they made the bump up to 5A. They opened up against each other on Thursday. Number 3, Corner Canyon, hosting number 4, Orem. Orem has the best player in the state, Noah Sewell, but he's out with a foot injury, so he was not in action. First quarter, Orem in action, though. Buju Tui Suvura, 11 yards for the score, 7-0 Tigers. Corner Canyon draws even, though Cole Hagan on the read option keeps it for 42 yards, and it's 7-all. About a minute later, the Chargers get the strip sack, and they recover the ball. Josh Wilson with that play. And it leads to this, Austin Bell's go-ahead touchdown run. Orem answers a 38-yard pass from Micah Fayette to Caden Vietrell. Ties the game at 14. Then Corner Canyon's Austin Bell. Man, this kid had 3 touchdowns in the game, and he slices in for that one there. The 6A Chargers able to pull away from the Tigers for the season-opening win, 30-14.
And Corner Canyon got a big game from their star defensive player, Van Fillinger. Is one of the top 5 players in the state, committed to the Texas Longhorns in the summer. He had a couple of sacks to lead the Chargers to victory.
All right, a couple of rivals. Wasatch and Park City open up the season in the second quarter here. Park City bringing the heat. The strip sack recovered by Andrew Peterson. 48-yard return. It's 27 Park City. Wasatch making a comeback, though. Parker Quinton keeps it, fights his way past the goal line, giving Wasatch a 24-20 lead. Park City's air attack was on point, though. Jack Skidmore, 31 yards to Mark McCurdy, wide open. They go back in front. Skidmore had 3 touchdown passes, and Park City holds on for the win, 35-30.
Riverton, Pleasant Grove, a great 6A matchup to open the season. Some crazy plays in this game. Pleasant Grove receiver Brooks Winterton, the diving grab. Riverton tied it up in the first quarter. Mackay Johnson to Ryan Ganaway. Pleasant Grove would score the next 21 points in the game, though. Caleb Campbell can sling it. Cale Mickelson has it. A 63-yard touchdown. Another crazy catch. This one goes to Riverton off the deflection. Hayden Turvile is in the right place at the right time. That PG offense just keeps rolling, though. Campbell to Porter Connors, 27 yards. PG wins 28-14.
All right, how about Mountain Ridge, the new school in Harriman, playing their first ever game last night against Olympus. Third play of the game, Olympus Scotty Edwards, the pick and the 6. 38 yards on the return. It's 7-zip Titans on their very first offensive play. How about this? Edwards, this time on the ground, 34-yard touchdown run. He had 5 scores in the first half alone. Still in the first quarter and a 28-0 lead. Christian Peterson on the sweep. That is a 61-yard scamper and a 49-0 lead at the half. Olympus dominates in that game, 56-0.
American Fork is a contender in 5A, competing in a loaded Region 4 with Corner Canyon, Lone Peak, PG, and Skyridge. They open the season at Lehi, which will battle Orem, Timpview, and Alta in Region 7. AF would take an early lead. Maddox Madsen. Gets some pressure, finds his running back, Jackson Gregory. It's 10-0 Caveman. Lehi responds. Creighton Cooper going long. McKay Walls got it. What a catch. 65 yards, 10-7 at the half. Gregory again. Isaiah Taui. An American Fork gets the win, 27-14.
All right, there was a tight one between Box Elder and Kearns. And, well, you know one of the best ways to start a game? How about this? On the opening kick, Isaiah Afatasi, 78 yards on the return for a score. And just like that, the Cougars up 6-0 after a missed extra point. Kearns not done scoring on special teams. Look at this. Luavila Tofavaha blocks the punt. Jeff Bossa returns it for 6. The Cougars built a 20-0 lead before Box Elder does this. Logan Holgate hauls in the 16-yard touchdown from Parker Buchanan. Kearns can score in the air too, though. Dakota Lind to a wide-open Afatasi from 20 yards out, and the Cougars hold off Box Elder. They get the win 34-30.
Juab opened the season at Hurricane. Their star running back Cade Bowering put on a show. First, he catches a 70-yard touchdown pass to give his team a 14-6 lead. Third quarter, this run is incredible. This is not your ordinary 66-yard touchdown run. Watch him fight off defenders for the last few yards on his way to the end zone. How in the world did he not go down? Slow it down the second time. What an effort. So Bowering has a touchdown catch, a touchdown run. How about a touchdown pass? Yep, he did that too. Juab rolls over Hurricane 41-30.
What a night. Well, 2A's #1 team, Milford, looking for a win against defending champs South Summit in the first quarter. Milford quarterback Bryson Barnes to Zach Sherwood, 7-0 Tigers. On the next possession, the quarterback sneak. That gives the Tigers a 13-0 lead. They kept rolling here. Barnes finds his running back, Brett Beebe, for a 25-yard score. And then to end the half, Beebe, well, he does it again. Milford rolls South Summit 38-9.
Brighton knocked off Fremont in a thriller, down 4 with 17 seconds left. Brighton needs a miracle. Gabe Curtis at quarterback. Let's watch how this develops. Again, 17 seconds left. There's the snap. He's just going to throw it up. But he's got a man. It's Matthew Cirillo in between 3 defenders. Breaks free and runs 67 yards for the game winner. Unreal. Brighton with the upset. Go crazy, Tigers.
What a way to end the game. Woo. Hey, you know, there's only one play you really need to see from the East Snow Canyon game, and this is the one here. Nicholas Session on the kick return, 91 yards. Can't be caught. East beats Snow Canyon 47-14.
Some great plays, and we are not done. When we come back, we recognize the best performances from week 1.
And we're re-racking the tapes and rolling out the top plays of the week. Which ones did we choose? Well, stick around and find out when Sports Beat Game Night returns.
It's my favorite part of the show, the moment we capture the excitement, beauty, and emotion of the Friday Night Lights experience.
Yeah, it's time for our first Game Night Live highlight reel of the season.
Now let's recognize this week's top performers. We have to start with Scotty Edwards of Olympus. Killing it on both sides of the ball. A 38-yard pick six, 3 touchdown runs, including a 75-yarder. He also caught a 59-yard touchdown in the Titans' win over Mountain Ridge.
He dominated, no doubt. But there's also no doubt Pine View's McLeod Croton is one of this week's top performers. He completed 34 passes, 482 yards passing, 7 touchdown passes, even ran for 24 more yards.
We also give the nod to Javessa Demooney, who ended up getting the win in that matchup. 25 carries, 198 yards, 5 touchdowns, helping the Ridgeline Riverhawks to a big win over Pine View.
All right, how about Lone Peak's Nate Ritchie? He did it all last night in their win over Timpview. Had a 25-yard touchdown catch. That's the end of it there. He had a 41-yard pick six, and he converted a 29-yard field goal and 3 extra points in Lone Peak's big game.
Jeez, what does he not do? My goodness. One of the best players in the state is Nate Ritchie. All right, up next, our top 3 plays of the week. Which one do you think deserves to be number 1? You can tell us. I'll tell you how next. Let's take a look at our top 3 plays. First, Pine View receiver Michael Moore putting the defender through the spin cycle. Go.
All right, Cade Bowering of Juab. This is not your ordinary 66-yard touchdown run. Watch him fight out the defenders for the last few yards on that way to the end zone. You know, we'll slow it down the second time because this is how impressive it is. I mean, they nearly took his shirt right off him, but he still got in to the end zone. That's a beautiful effort.
What a run that was. All right, Riverton off the deflection. Aiden Turvile is in the right place at the right time. Oh, that other receiver paid the price, but it all worked out in the end of that play for Riverton, but not in the end of the game. PG ends up getting the win. All right, we're moving on now to week 2 of the high school football season. Pine View versus Highland will be our Game Night Live game of the week next Friday night. Until then, so long, everyone.